Vivian, thanks so much for taking some time to hang with me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hi, David, and all the listeners of Inspiration Rising. I am so glad to be here.
It is great to have you. All right, so we're talking all about fulfillment, the fulfilled woman. The name
Right.
of your organization, your group, is the Fulfilled Women. But what does it mean to be a fulfilled woman? Like in your own words.
Yeah, this has been asked to me so many times, like when I get interviewed, and even when I have events, people have been asking me, so what does it mean for a person, for a woman to be fulfilled? Like, why did you create the fulfilled women? And for me, my definition has always been the same about fulfillment. Fulfillment is discovering your purpose, discovering your calling, and having the courage to pursue it. Because for a lot of people, they just exist, but they don't live. A lot of people are just waking up and sleeping and waking up and sleeping, and time just passes by. But you are fulfilled when you have discovered what you are meant for, when you have discovered why you are here on earth. And some people stop there. They know that they should be doing it, but they are fearful, but they do not have the courage to go after that calling because, I mean, going after your calling is not very easy. Sometimes it takes a whole lot of courage because it's outside of your comfort zone. It's something that's, kind of hard to get into. So being fulfilled is those two things: discovering what you're meant for and having the courage to go after it.
Oh, Vivian, you are talking my language. I just resonate so much with what you're saying there. I mean, that is just such a profound message that's been really my life message for 25 years, is just to help people go, what gets you up in the morning? Like, what is
Right.
it? Is it just the job? Is it just the paycheck? Is it just to feed the kids? Like, there's got to be, like, what is it? And it can be to care for your kids and be an awesome mom or a dad or whatever. That can be the passion. But what is it? So I just love that is one of your core messages. How did that come about for you? Like, where did that fire come up in you to help other people develop their own passion in life?
Well, actually, 5 years ago, it was the time when the fulfilled woman was born. So 5 years ago, I went through depression. I we had our first baby, and it should be something. It should be a season where I should be happy because I have a
Right,
baby,
right,
but
right.
I don't know because I just felt so sad. It felt so depressing. Because when you see me right now, this is who I really am. I'm very outspoken. I'm very sociable. I love people. I love this. I love being interviewed. I like interviewing. I like doing events. I'm an achiever. But then when I got pregnant and I gave birth, I stayed home. I was breastfeeding 24/7, changing diapers, just feeding my child. And, everything just changed. And I felt like I didn't have a life. It's not that I didn't love my baby.
Of
It's just
course.
that I don't know. It just felt different because this is not who I am. I know that I want to do this. I want to care for my child, but something was missing. And so towards the end of that year, it was 2015. And then towards the end of that year, I just had enough. This is not my life. This is not who I am. I don't want this life. So I started praying. I said, Lord, this is the exact prayer that I said, Lord, just help me wake up excited again. Because at that time, like waking up, I felt like I haven't done anything yet, but I felt defeated.
Just getting up just from the moment you woke up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
What was your
just how
what
I
was your
felt.
husband what was your husband saying to you, or what were you guys talking about during that season of life?
It was the time when our marriage started to fall apart, actually.
Mm,
And so he doesn't know how to deal with me. I didn't know how to deal with myself. And so so that was the time we had an amazing marriage. We'd been married for 4 years before we had a baby. So that was like the best, amazing time of our lives. And then we had a baby and things kind of changed. I had changed. I knew I had changed. I just stopped being the kind of wife that he wants. And he doesn't know how to deal with me. And I didn't know how to deal with myself. So it was kind of the start of our rocky marriage. We might talk about that a little later, but there's a second part to that Rocky marriage. So that was when the Fulfilled Women was born. That was when I realized that I needed to get up. So God really helped me with it. And so I kind of started to attend webinars. I took online courses. I started to I went through personal development and I said, something really has to change. And then I realized this was already 2016. I realized that in 2008, I created a vision board. And in that vision board, I said, my mission in life is to inspire women and youth to reach their full potential for God's glory. And that was in 2008.
Wow.
Like, why am I not doing it? This is something that I knew all along. Where was it? It got lost along the way. I don't know what happened.
Sure, of course.
And then I realized that this is what I wanted to do. And then so I kept thinking, and that word fulfilled came into the picture. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to help women get out of their prison cell. And I want to help them realize that there's more to life than trying to fit yourself up a square peg in a round hole. There is more to life than this. So that's kind of when it started, like inspiring women to rise up and to get them to do what they are meant to do in life.
Sure. You use that metaphor of a prison cell, which is that's pretty strong language. And I know that can feel, or I guess I should say that can play out very differently in all different women's lives, right? So I assume that could be trying to live up to the expectations of maybe culture or a husband, or be just maybe if culture says, hey, you should be that stay-at-home mom and you should like every minute of it. You should like every dirty diaper and be happy with, right? That could be, right? Is that a common message that women in the Philippines are given, or is that more something that you were just brought up with in terms of that expectation on you?
I feel like both of them, because there's just a lot of expectations. You are supposed, like that, you are supposed to be liking being a mom. And when I was sharing, especially in the church culture, like, you have to be loving that. You have to be loving being a mom. You have to be loving having a child, because I have a lot of friends who doesn't have children. They've been married for so long and they didn't have children. Like, you have to be thankful. Why are you so unhappy? Like, I do not have the answer. I do not know why I'm unhappy.
Yeah. And of course, you love your child. Of course, you want your child. But yeah, there is this disconnect inside. I hear what you're saying. And that's so, obviously that's not just in the Philippines. That's, of course, here in the United States where I live. That's a common experience that people have. So what was your initial vision for the Fulfilled Women? What were you wanting to put on courses or events, or what was your idea there? What were you trying to start 5 years ago?
You know what? I didn't have anything in particular in mind. What I just want is to see a movement of women, like, being so courageous in pursuing their goals, like, not being fearful of what others would think, not being fearful that I am too young for this or I am too old for this. I just want to see women smiling and happy in every industry, and having events too. Because I've always wanted to be a public speaker. And at that time, it was also the time that I kind of started doing public talks and workshops.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what I had in mind. A movement of women
Sure.
being inspired.
Now, when you brought this idea up to your husband in the midst of depression, like, what did he say?
My husband has been very, very supportive of me in everything that I do. When I have lost hope, and when I lose hope, he is always the shining light. No, you can do this. When in 2012, that was the year when I started writing my first book. And he was the one who really pushed me. He funded me because this is a self-published book. Like, you have to do this because you have a message to share. He has always been like that. When I had my business like a few years ago, he was also the, I think I want to close this down. And he would give me inspiration, like inspiring stories. I wouldn't forget what he told me when um when I was starting the Fulfilled Women, and he said that, we have watched, we have seen, we have read a lot of successful stories. It's about time that they read our success story. You have to keep going.
Wow.
I
That is
have the most amazing husband in the world.
so good. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Okay, so as you were launching this organization, this business, um, how did you deal with the depression? Did it just go away? Did you try other things? Like, what did you do to overcome that?
You know, the thing was, I had decided that this was enough. And I think that was the turning point. Once you decide, it's so it's so hard because when you're depressed, you just want to get out of it. But it's just so hard. So it really starts with a decision. You have to decide that this is enough, and I'm going to step forward no matter how hard it is. So when I started to work on myself, when I started attending webinars, taking online classes, watching videos on YouTube, when I started reading personal development books, that's when I started to gain more confidence, and I got back to myself being Vivienne again. And slowly the depression just went away. I don't actually, I was talking to my husband about, because I was taking some medication. So many things has happened to me during that year that I was going through depression. I had a heart problem. I had gastrointestinal problem. I had something with my bones with my knees. I was in and out of the hospital all the
Oh my
time.
goodness.
Yeah, yeah. So when I read about people getting depressed and having like physical manifestations, like, now I understand why I was like that year, because I'm never very sickly, never. I'm like, I feel like I'm a very healthy person, but that year I was just sick all the time. And then
Wow.
after that I was fine again. I got off my heart. It was a maintenance medicine. I got off that, and even until now I don't take that anymore. So I'm like, I'm suddenly well.
That's amazing. Obviously,
Yeah.
everybody's journey. I've had a difficult time with depression myself, specifically 12 years ago. But I have been on an antidepressant medication for the last 12 years. My listeners have heard me share that multiple times. And some people need that to help with the chemistry of their brain, and others can find other ways to kind of just get off of it. But I'm so glad that was a transformation for you. Um, when you were trying to overcome depression, did you find that there were, it sounds like the personal development material was helpful for you. Were there things that you were trying that were not helpful? You know what I mean? Things that people were saying or advice that they were giving that just didn't work for you?
Absolutely. That really got me deeper down into depression, because when you're in a church setting and you say that you are depressed, it's like saying that you are not reading the Bible enough, that you are not, you're just not praying enough.
You don't have enough
But
faith
you
or,
don't have, exactly, you don't have
yeah,
enough faith. And I, you know, how I felt that time is like I am drowning already. I'm just reaching my arm and asking for help. And when they say those things, I'm just drowning even more. What they're
yeah,
telling me is like, just swim harder. You can do it. Go, girls. Just swim harder. Like, that's not what I need. Just hold my hand.
yeah,
I cannot take this anymore. I cannot swim any harder. And so, um, I really went deeper into depression because nobody understands me. Like,
yeah.
how come? Is there anyone else who experiences this? Is there anyone else out there who is a Christian and is experiencing depression? So that was the first one in 2015. Well, last year I went through depression again. That's why the Fulfilled Women went um, into a break. It
Sure,
was
sure.
closed for about 6 months because I really couldn't take it. It started last year and about a whole year again. And it was this
Wow.
time when I needed antidepressant and when I needed anti-anxiety, when I had to go to a psychiatrist because it was different already. The when I told you a while ago about my husband and I having a crack in our marriage, this one is really broken. Our marriage was
Mm.
really crushed.
A little over a year
And
ago, huh?
yeah, just a year ago.
Mm.
And I don't want to do this anymore. I mean, I don't want to do the Fulfilled Women anymore because I'm the founder of it and I'm a Christian and I'm supposed to be a good leader. And this
Sure,
is
sure. Have it all
this is who I
together.
am. I'm broken.
Mm.
And yeah, so that was the time when I needed that. I needed the antidepressant. I needed help. I needed
Yeah.
therapy. I needed something else.
Did that second bout with depression kind of come on because of the challenges in your marriage?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was because of that. And you know, a lot of people didn't know because last year was big for the Fulfilled Women. We've got a lot of events last year. There were a lot of people coming up to me and telling me how the group has changed their lives, has inspired them. But what they didn't know was inside something was happening.
Mm.
And that day that I went to the psychiatrist for the first time, I had two events that day because I'm also an events host. I mean, a party host. So I had an event in the morning, and then in the afternoon, I did an inspiring talk to a group of women,
Sure.
and then in the evening, I went to a psychiatrist. Like, I cannot take this anymore. I
Mm.
need help.
Yeah.
And what helped me was, so I was telling you a while ago that, is there anyone who experiences this? Is there anyone else who is experiencing what I'm experiencing? And then I found out a book. Her name is Sheila Walsh.
Uh-huh.
She wrote a book, It's Okay to Not Be Okay.
Yep.
There's another book that she wrote, Honestly. I think that's the title of the book, Honestly, where she shared. I think she's famous in the US as the
Yes. Yeah.
anchor of 700 Club. And then on her, she has her last episode at 700 Club and then went straight to a mental facility. I'm like, oh, she knows exactly she
Yeah.
knows exactly what I'm experiencing. That kind of gave me hope
Yeah.
that, someone understands. I will not
Wow.
forget her. I love her so much
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. I
she
actually
she
grew up
understands
listening.
me.
I grew up listening to her music. She was a famous musician.
Yeah.
When I
Yes,
was
yes.
when I was a kid. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, so you found a sense of a connection with her story, that she understood what you were going through, and her books were helpful. How did you get your or have you found a way to kind of find a deeper connection with your husband through this? Were you guys able to find support and help during that time?
Well, just before the lockdown, 2 days. So this was in March before the pandemic started. 2 days before that, we were supposed to go to a marriage counseling, but because of the lockdown, it was canceled. And then, mom, I'm a very busy person. I'm always out. I always have events. Because I'm also speaking. That's what I do. So I always have events, corporate events, and I'm also hosting. And my husband has the video production. So he's also out all the time, taking videos or editing or stuff. And so we don't really get to connect with each other. But, well, I guess God made this pandemic a way for us to be locked
Wow.
down inside the house. And I started doing a membership site for the Fulfilled Women. And then my husband started focusing on editing. So he does not go out anymore to shoot. He has photographers, he has videographers.
Yeah.
So they just let him he just lets them do the shooting, the production, and then he does everything. All the editing is is on his hands. And so he's home all the time. This is the first time where we eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. And
Wow.
consistently every day, Sunday to Saturday, we have our time together in the evenings. First time ever in 10 years. In 10 years of our marriage.
And
This is the first time.
that transformed things.
It did. Absolutely. It did. And so now I can say that things, well, of course, it's not perfect. We still have like arguments here and there, but definitely things has been so amazing. So I know that for some people, the pandemic has been quite challenging, but for us, this has been an answered prayer. My word for the year for 2020 is restore. And absolutely, our marriage has been restored this year,
Wow.
2020.
I'm so happy to hear that. That is so awesome. That is so great. And the thing that I love you just sharing so vulnerably about this is that we all go through challenging seasons, right? Even those of us who have a message of hope, even those of us who have a message of empowerment, where we want to help other people live a fulfilled life, we go through our own challenges. And I admire your honesty to say, hey, I've gone through even just a recent challenge. And that's not an unusual thing where husbands and wives are going in two separate directions because you have your own businesses, right? You're both successful in what you're doing. Well, that means you're going to be busy. So how do you manage that? And so all of a sudden, you had the gift of the coronavirus was like a gift to you. Sounds so bad, but like that's a good thing. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
really, really helped us connect again and kind of have um a schedule, settle down at home. And you know, I love vision board, vision. I have a dream book, and in my dream book, I have there a page where it says, my perfect day looks like. This is what my perfect day looks like.
Okay. Okay.
And it really has a schedule. Like 6 a.m., I'll wake up, I'll read the Bible. 7 a.m., I'll work out. 8 a.m., we'll have breakfast. 9 a.m., I'll start to homeschool. Like by the hour, it's there when my perfect life looks like.
Sure.
And then like 3-4 months into the lockdown, I remembered that. And I'm like, that is exactly what's happening today. What? Wow, but that was 2 years ago. I wrote that 2 years ago. And it's what's happening now. I told that to my husband, like having goosebumps. Like, what?
That's amazing.
So
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, really amazing. So let's just say that a woman's listening now and she's like, "Oh, I'm going through a difficult time myself. I'm not sure what my passion is. I don't feel fulfilled in life." What would you say would be a good first step for her to kind of find that passion or find that fulfillment?
It's really a lot of steps into the way. It's not like one click and then you're gonna find it. But what I would suggest is for her to create a vision for her life. If creating a vision board is too tedious for her or too much work, too much hours to put in, I would ask her to get a jar and get a piece of paper and then cut it to eight, like a whole bond paper, and cut it into eight. And then on those pieces of paper, write down the things that she wants to accomplish in her life. Like, what do you want to happen in your life? Are there places that you want to visit? Are there things that you want to do? Because when you just sit down and like think, what do I need to do? What is my calling? What is my purpose? It kind of gives you the pressure.
Oh, it's so big. It's so overwhelming.
It's
Yeah,
yeah, it gives you so much pressure. I don't know what to write, and it gives you that frustration.
right.
But when you start to write down things, it like the things that you want to do, places that you want to go to, the things that you want to study, people that you want to help. It gives you that. It opens you up. It opens up your brain, your creativity, and you just start writing and writing and writing, and then put that in that jar. And then now, once that's opened up, once those dreams are opened up, you can now sit down and, you know what? I think I want to do this. You know what? I never thought that I wanted to start baking again. I want to bake again. And then that's when it starts to, you have to explore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like one click and then you're there already. It's kind of, sometimes it's hit and miss, but you have to explore. So I suggest you guys, if you haven't done that, get a jar and just start writing down your dreams. Put it in the jar. And it works like a vision board. So every morning, you just pick one, just read it, and imagine it happening in your life. So pretty much like a vision board, except that it doesn't have a picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that idea of exploring because sometimes I feel like the people that I work with, it's like, well, I've got to pick the right thing. Because if I don't pick the right thing, then I'm going to waste time, money, energy, whatever. And I like how you're saying, just pick something. Like, just get moving. Like,
Mhm.
just try something. And if you explore, then it may or may not be exactly what you want right now, but at least you're opening up beyond mere existence. Because waking up, either going to work or taking care of the kids or both, or, all of it, can feel so like you're in a rut and you just can't get out of that. But by dreaming a little bit, what I'm hearing you say, it can just open you up to new possibilities. That feels good. Yeah.
Yeah. It takes the pressure off, if you're just exploring, because you're trying to find out what is going to work for me, because it may not work for you, but it's a step closer. It might be a step closer to what you are looking for. Because really, it's life is not a straight road. You just go left and right and left and right, and you meet people along the way, and those people that you meet along the way, they are going to get you closer to where you should be. And maybe that you are still getting yourself prepared, because you have to be the right person for the right opportunity. If you've heard that success is when preparation meets opportunity. So you got to be prepared. And how do you prepare? Just have to keep walking like a bike. You keep pedaling and pedaling and pedaling, because when you stop, you're going to fall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, you have a course that's obviously it's an online course, the Roadmap to a Fulfilled Life. What is this course all about, and who would be best suited to take it?
Yeah. So this is the first ever course that I created when I started the Fulfilled Women, because I really wanted to help women to find out their calling, to find out what they're meant for, to discover the hidden things that they have in their hearts. Because sometimes most of the time, they already know, but it is clouded with fear, clouded with judgment from other people. So this course is about removing all those barriers, and just discovering your purpose and having the courage. So those two steps, it's going to give you the courage to go after it. So it's a self-paced course, so you can take it anytime you want. But there's also another one. It's an upgrade where you can work with me, and I'm going to help you get through it. So there's a coaching that comes with it. And so what will happen to you after this are two things. You will discover what you are meant for, and you will have the courage to go after it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you will have that fulfilled life.
Yes, yes, yes. And I know the course just by itself, for U.S. audience, it's around $52, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. audience, I think 2,500 pesos for Filipino audience. And it's in English, so anybody could
Yes,
take it.
it is in English.
Reads
Yeah.
English, yeah. And then you also have other ways that people can get connected to you, either for one-on-one coaching, your website, Facebook group. Tell me about your Facebook group. Who would be a good fit for that?
Yeah. So we also have a Facebook group. It's free to join. The Fulfilled, you can search that on Facebook, The Fulfilled Women Community, Faith and Dreams. So basically, these are women who has dreams, who needs accountability, who wants to be encouraged, to be empowered, to go after their dreams. And it's faith and dreams because these are for women who wants to have God in the center of their lives while they are pursuing their dreams. Because it was hard for me in the beginning to find a group that has God in the center of in the center, because when you are pursuing your dreams, it's mostly about you, it's mostly about what you want, so personal ambition. And so I didn't want to get my eyes off Christ, I didn't want to get my eyes off my faith. And so this group is about that. It's about following God's calling in your life, not just your personal ambition, not just what you want, but really going after what God wants for you.
Love that. Love that. Viviene, I admire you. I admire your work as a leader, and I love hearing about your marriage and your kids and your passion for other people. And I'm so glad that, in a weird way, the pandemic really helped your relationship. So, so good. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. If one last word of encouragement. If there's someone listening today that just feels like, I just feel hopeless. I just feel like I just don't, I'm drowning, as you said, what would you say to her today?
I feel you. I know what you mean. That's what I'm going to tell her. I know what you mean. I know exactly how it feels to be drowning. But you know what? There is hope. I want you to remember that word. There is hope. And hope comes when you do not give up. When you lose hold of hope, you're losing hold of a better future, of what can happen in your life. And so don't lose that hope. Just imagine, what life would be like if you go after your dreams. Imagine what it would be like if you do not give up. Imagine how many people you'd be able to help if you do not give up. And just stay at it. Just hold on to hope. Just don't lose that.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Viviene, for being with us today.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, David.